Happy New Year, ladies and gentlemen. It's your man, Coke Boy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're listening to the Goodliving podcast. I've missed you guys. And by you guys, I'm not just talking about everybody. I'm talking about people, you guys on my podcast, the ones that clicked on the link, the ones that listen to the audio, the ones that listen to what I put out on Spotify. You guys that have been there since 2022 February when I started this whole thing. When I used to just make content like this. When I used to talk out of my heart. And if you're here again and you're from that era, then shout out to you. And you really want, I wish there were ways to identify every single one of you. Obviously, I know some of you, but I can't identify every single one of you. And I really appreciate that, which is why I'm back with this kind of content. And it's been great. This entire year that just passed was amazing. I'd say I learned a lot of stuff. I liken this year to 2021 in my life. 2 particular years that taught me real lessons. By the way, don't let the topic scare you. I'm just going to talk, yeah? I'm going to talk about this topic, but don't let it scare you, yeah? And how was your holidays? How did this whole December period? We see this thing once a year. Like, it's really scarce. This Christmas period is quite scarce, And how was it for you? Because, I'd like to see in the comment. There's no comment. Yeah, I'll put an interactive something on Spotify where you can, answer these questions. Because for me, it was good. It was really good. So in my town, in my city, they do all these shows and events, as I'm sure they do in different cities as well. And I tried to make sure I went for as many as I could. I attended almost every single one of those shows. My Instagram is filled with all the fun I was having. So that's how my own went. From Macfest to Benefit Fiesta to Marktown Fest to Zanzibar. What other one? I didn't go for all white party, but I went for Wowza Homecoming. That was 4 shows I think I went for this period. I had an amazing time this December. I hope you did too. And I hope you have a great 2024. Now, your country, your destiny, your death. I'm just trying to talk about Nigeria, right? How Nigeria happens to a person, how Nigeria happens to you. Without you even knowing it sometimes. In this life, we look at the internet and Netflix, and I'm just blabbing here, but stay with me, yeah. You look at the internet and everything that's happening, and what you see, almost everything is foreign, except you're the type that always watches Nigerian movies, and to be fair, our social media space in this country is quite occupied. But most of the great things that really matter in the world that happens do not happen in Nigeria. They do not happen here. They do not come from here. You could see Nigerians doing great things, but they're not doing it in Nigeria. They're doing it elsewhere. And it's Nigeria's fault. Part of it is yours, obviously, but it's Nigeria's fault. Because it happens to you. And I'll give you an example. I had a friend, and this kind of thing has never happened to me, but it happened to my friend. He went on vacation to Seychelles. That was in 2022, I guess, and he was treated badly. He seized his passport. It was just clear racism. Seychelles, if you don't know, is an African country. They are just lighter than us in general, but still, because he was in Nigeria, because he had a Nigerian passport, he had to suffer a lot of things. He had to stay. He was delayed. His passport was seized for a bit. It was crazy, and that is not because my friend did anything in particular. It's because he took this small booklet that had the fucking name Nigeria written on it, and that was the beginning of his problems. We've had people that were not offered jobs because they were Nigerian. There's this whole stereotype about us that gets us in trouble in the international space, and I think that's really messed up, and it's a Nigerian thing. Your geography is destiny, Abby. Your geography is your destiny. Where you are is what you become. And there might be different arguments to this. Let me be honest. I know there might be different arguments to this, but let me prove this thing to you. Say, for example, I will internalize this. If I want to be, I'm doing podcasting right now. If I want to be the best podcaster in the world, and I live in Nigeria, how is that going to work? I could never be the best podcaster on earth if I only live in Nigeria. And there are differences with this thing. I might gain global popularity at some point if I'm consistent, if I do well consistently. One of my videos or something could just pop and just be world viral, and everybody would hear about me and stuff like that. But remember, your destiny is not just one thing that happens to you. Your destiny is your life. Your destiny is like a collection of all the major events that happen in your life and how all of that turned out to be at the end. That's what your destiny is. So basically, that one event of me going viral is not necessarily my destiny. So if I was going to become the best podcaster in the world, even if I go viral out of my bedroom here, because people have done it, yeah. People, Lai Wasabi does not live in Lagos. People might think he does, but I think he lives in IB or something, and he's famous. And I don't think he has even moved safe. But you get, you know him. People know him all around the country. People who make content from different parts of the country, and they are known nationwide. And so you might argue with that point as say, okay, but geography is not destiny because these other people are making it from these other places, which is true. You can go viral from those places, but for you to attain a certain level of success where you conquer a large area of land, if it's an entire country, a continent, or whatever, you have to go to the place where the best resides in, the current best, whatever it is you want to be, whatever it is I want to be. There's already somebody who has the biggest podcast. I'll say maybe Joe Rogan. So for some reason, yeah, I have to be in the same space as the people who see that guy as the best. I'll give a practical example with podcasting again, yeah. So Joe Rogan is a podcaster. He's probably the one with the most successful podcast in the world right now, and there is no way so you can put this like even in music or whatever, there is no way you can be considered the best if you've not gone to the same locale as the current best and taken his fans, or at least struck up a conversation. So if I have a rapper now in my city that is a good rapper, he the boss die, like he's when he spits, man. But then we only love him in Nigeria. That is it. We love him here. He's our number one here. And I could go from here, yeah, and go to the US. Has the most rappers, probably whoever is the most successful rapper on earth would be in the US, and go to the US and I'll listen to whatever that person is rapping. I'll be like, yo, but this my guy at home can do better than this now. Doesn't mean he's the best rapper, you get. But until that guy now moves to the US and starts doing collaborations and let the audience of the current best rapper listen to him too and judge for themselves, and even if he's not that good just yet, at least he's there, he's in and around the place where the best is, and then he can now hone his talent to the point where, you know, he's so good, it's no longer an argument. They say, nah, this guy should place the other guy. That is it, that's how you get it. There's no other way to beat the system. So, but Nigeria is not the place where these things are happening, and it could easily be the place where these things are happening, but it's not. And why is that? It's us. I mean, I'm talking about us like our leaders. I'm talking about you that's listening to this thing, and me as well. Because at the end of the day, the Nigerians, they do Nigerians. You get. It's not as if somebody from a foreign place is doing anything to us. I'll give you an example. You see all these fake goods, yeah? People think it's today. You know, this thing of knockoffs and fake items that was raining last month. You know, it's still also, it's not anybody in government that sanctioned any of those things. It is you that thought about it and thought, I think I can make my own. After all, the rules are not so strict. I think I can make my own Hennessy. I mean, it's not just to get the empty bottles. How many people can even afford the real Hennessy? How many people haven't tasted it? How many people can tell? So they think about this, and it's like creativity, but in the wrong way. And you explore that creativity, and you make your own Hennessy, and you sell it, and you make money. And before you know, you have your mansion in the village, and your children are now making TikToks about it. Your mansion in the village that obviously you used fake drink money to build, and it's different other things. And being an Igbo boy, I don't know why, maybe the entire country just got woken up to this now, but I've always known that knockoffs were all over the place. When they say Abba stuff, every single I guarantee you, whoever you are under the sound of my voice, unless you know that you are filthy rich, and then I mean you have like 50 million naira upwards in your account, like steady, that is your broke 50 million naira. I can get everything you think you buy, except you went abroad and bought it yourself, eh? You bought something that they made somewhere in Nigeria, like your Nike that you bought 200k. You get your Calvin Klein inner wear that you bought 35 grand. All of them is inside this country. They made it. Nobody on earth is going. Nobody in Nigeria is going to go abroad that is going to import underwear for you that you can buy for 35,000 naira. Let me not even go too far with the underwears. Shirts, trousers, shoes, all this Nike and the rest. Like not the Nike that your Okada men are wearing, no. The ones that you wear in club, that you see ballers wear in club. All those ones. Let me not even get started on this other people. All these ones that used to like post the thing on their WhatsApp status, and then you now order and then you buy, they'll bring it for Lagos and give to you. All those ones, all those things, they sold them like somebody that has the same Nigerian blood running in his veins sat down at a sewing machine and made those clothes, and then they just ironed it well and all whatnot and then sent it to you. And I'm not even saying that one itself is bad. I'm just saying everything we do by ourselves. And this thing I just said now, it could be both good and bad, in the sense that this means that we are resourceful, but at the same time it's negative creativity. So those three goods are there. So I've always known these things existed. It's just that now every single one of them, everybody decided to be snapping the ones they are seeing, because bullets that we used to drink, that you guys used to drink. I've seen the Bullieti before. I just didn't care for it, but I've seen it before. But it started trending later as well. So all these things, who is doing it? Is it the politicians? Is it your governor? Is it your father? Or Wike? Is who did it? It's not them. You can say, yeah, but indirectly they made the country worse. And how do you even say it safe? And because of the poverty, everybody has to now figure out what they have to do for themselves, and they're just trying to live life at the expense of your own fellow Nigerians that you are suffering together. So tell me, instead of you people to think of a plan on how to come together, endure for long, with a plan that you are following, where you know that the end result is to dethrone the people who are killing the country and for you to now take over and make it right. So instead of that, I just remember I'm taking my bath today. I lived junkie life today. I won't lie. I just stayed indoors like all day. I don't think I've seen the sun, and it's 2 days. It's 2 hours to wait. It's 1 hour to the new year right now. So I'm recording this. Yeah, I didn't go for crossover service. I told you now. I didn't feel like it. I've not felt like it the whole day, the entire day. It's been messed up. Arsenal lost. Arsenal scored first too, and then lost. Nah. Anyways, I was talking about something else. Yeah. So it's not them. You can blame them all you want, but there are people who do not care about the government, and I think they are living the best lives. I think they are the happiest people, and I'm one of those people. I do not care what the government does, unless they do something that directly involves me. Because they are never promise. I do not care what the government does. I have no interest in politics. I vote who I think will do the best job, who will protect my own interests, but that's just about that. I don't care what's going on in APC or PDP within this period of time until it's election time again. So I think your responsibility is to yourself, and the nation, the world is always going to be the world, and the way you can choose what you do with your time and how you treat your fellow man and the things that you choose to indulge in as a person. And without that, then you cannot blame anybody aside yourself for anything that happens in your life. Moving on, the next thing I want to just prove to you guys that it's us as in ourselves. There's greed, and all of us are guilty of greed. And it's not just a Nigerian thing, it's an everywhere thing. Just that it's easier to be greedy in Nigeria because it's like a survival instinct, it's like a survival tactic to be greedy in Nigeria. But it doesn't mean we have to be, because I'll say this here. Because at the end of the day, all of us are killing ourselves. I'll tell you why it's not an excuse. I'll tell you why it's not an excuse to blame any other person. Do you know when like this fella's grandson Abison used to like to talk, and I'm on board with most of the things he says, to be honest. I love, is it Femi? That is his name? The one with the punk behind his head. He keeps talking about like the white man, they came and they did this to you, and yeah, he makes valid points too. But if you're going to use it as an excuse as to why we are the way we are in 2023, the way we are in 2024, or the way we be 2025, you want to use the white man that left this country in Patapata in 67. You had over 60 years to fix your fucking country, so that all these things we are talking about today will not be a problem. And yet we're already dying about. So it's inherent, it's in our blood to be this greedy, to be this inhumane, to be this selfish, with each other, and generation after generation after generation, we've just been continuing to perpetuate our Nigerianness. And what we are living in right now is the end result of what your father directly did with his time on earth, and what your grandfather directly did with his time on earth. Not any politician, no. When your father and your grandfather were on earth, what did they do? What did they do? Nothing. And you think that's good? They just went with the flow. Nobody's going to rise up and say, okay, let's do something. Yeah, we've done that before, and they shot the fuck out of us at Lekki Toll Gate. But what do you expect? Do you know what power is? Do you know how addictive it is? Nobody's going to give it up easily now. People will die. Blood will be shed. But if you're going to cower and hide after one setback, then your entire generation is going to suffer. You will die, and then your children will come again and say they want to start afresh when you would have at least done your best. So, Nigerians, so I'll be our people. Well, so your destiny is in this place you are living in. A lot of you might lie to yourselves that I'll leave this country. First of all, you know you have to save money, or at least earn a lot of money before you can leave Nigeria. It's like we're all in prison here. It's like if you saw Squid Game, you know the place that their money used to fall into when somebody dies, and the money will add that thing that looked like what did it even look like? I want to say like a condom that they filled with water, but in that case it was money. So that kind of thing, you are stuck in there, and it will take a lot for you to leave, for you to Japan. You might go and say our embassy full. Highest there's 4,000 people at the embassy. There's 250 million of us. Maybe let's say some are old people and some are infants. There's at least 100 million of us that think, okay, yeah, if it gets too bad, we're going to leave the country. You're not. You're living in poverty. And if you want to change your destiny, then you have to change your country. And the change begins with you. And it will be difficult, because I can predict to you that, okay, when you want to start doing well now, they will cheat you. You want to now start saying, okay, I will not cheat this man. Which one is the thing is 2,000? I should tell him 4,000 so that I will keep that. No, I will not do that. You can choose not to do that, but just be prepared that they will do it to you, and make peace with it. One of the reasons I don't really fancy, let me not say fancy, one of the reasons I don't really rate church anymore is because I figured I could be a decent human being by myself without necessarily aligning or being a fanatic about one religion. I mean, I do go to church, I do identify as a Christian, and I believe in God and Jesus Christ. What I'm saying is, I believe more in being a decent human being, and I think anybody who knows me knows that I do my best not to have flaws. Like the fit say, this guy he talk too much, or this guy, those things that you know about people. This guy, if you do business and he go cheat you, or they lie. I like to, as much as I can, just live right with all men and be honest. I think honesty is honesty does the job for you in terms of being a decent human being. And if you can just start being honest here, just start cutting out lies from your life generally. Just if you think that this thing is bad, you say it is bad if they ask you what you think about it. I mean, obviously there are situations where you use your head, like in extreme situations where it's life and death, or maybe something. But then on a normal day, whenever you see the truth, say the truth. Whenever you and that way it will shock you, but we'll build this country. We'll rebuild this country, because it will get to a point where you have to also fight for your nation, like physically. And there too, you give your all. I don't even know. This is not how I planned this podcast to go, but at the end of the day, I'm rallying everybody to like fix the country. But I was just trying to say how terrible it is right now as a nation. Like, it's a new year. You should know. If you don't know how bad it is bad. One, your elections is not you that is choosing your leader, and it's not because it's your fault too. No, it's your fault. What am I even saying? It's not that it's choosing your leader because you do not protect your votes when you do vote. You do not exercise your power as citizens when the one time you have to exercise your power as a citizen of a country, you do not even exercise it then, and then you suffer the consequences of it for 4 years, and then you get another chance to exercise your power as a citizen, and you still don't do it, and you suffer with it. Like, it's funny. The cycle is crazy. So I mean, I'm just saying everybody should be wiser. And I know the majority of Nigerians do not even have access to internet or these things I'm saying. And I've not done this before, but I'll call on you if anybody is watching or is listening up until this point. Try to share this podcast to somebody that you know would not listen to it otherwise, would not have access to it otherwise, like a market woman or your grandma or somebody that maybe you can just download and put in their phone or something. I don't know, man. But I think we need to get the message of the things I'm going to be saying on this podcast this year to a lot of people. So that's that too. It's your man Coke Boy, remember. And yeah, there's going to be a lot more content like this. Pardon me, not all of them are going to have videos because, to be honest, it's just exhausting, and I have a lot of content types that I'm going to be putting up, but this is my primary. So yeah, I have some topics I'm going to be talking about in January/February. I'm going to just list them out so that you can tell me the one you're anticipating. So yeah, I have material for how to get over a breakup. I have how to respond to cheating. I have the roadmap for what? This is my handwriting. How can I not understand it? The roadmap for a happy man. The roadmap for a happy girl. Early parenthood. What is it like? And how things spiral down to rubbish. And therapizing yourself. These are all topics that I'm going to talk about at some point this year, this month. Thank you very much for listening to the Goodliving podcast. Remember that I love you. Please share the podcast. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.